Oh, hey there. We're back with the Gamebreaker. We'll keep it short and sweet today because this one is kind of fun. We're quite a ways into the game. We're 163 moves in, and we're down by a little bit. So right now we're black, 9k, up against white, 10k. It's white's turn, and they're up by 16 points. So, I mean, we're getting pretty close to the end of the game. We're talking end game type stuff. There's not a lot of places that I can be attacking the board. So white's got the next play here. Gets kind of aggressive, jumps in, interestingly. So a couple plays kind of unfold down there. At this point, where do I play next? Right here. This is the game breaker. Although, you know what? I was going to back it up one because there was a missed game breaker in terms of white, right? I started attacking this corner, and we'll get into that in a second. But by by jumping in here, right? What does white do next? He responds, but he shouldn't have. White shouldn't have responded at all. Look at this group of four. There's a snapback situation here. This is a completely missed opportunity by white. So if instead, whoops, if white were to just ignore that stone, and we'll see what eventually happens from that, but if you were to just ignore that, guess what? You go, what? Here? I can kill you, but then what? I'm down to one liberty. Snap back, you get the kill. All of a sudden, this whole group is officially dead too. White has now just massacred the bottom of the board, and they were up by 16. Now they're up by like 30 points. However, that's not what happened, right? Okay, so that's the missed opportunity, the missed game breaker. But what happens instead? This is the game breaker I kind of wanted to talk about because at the time I totally missed this. I just noticed it now going back to this game. This is the one I wanted to talk about, and this is what swung the tables in my favor. Because we said we're down by 16 points. I could attack over here. Maybe I can attack here. I could jump in at the 3-3. Not a lot of. I mean, this one's probably toast. I'll get killed. There's a chance I could live here. There's a chance I could live there. But they're long shots. However, this is like the one spot where I can still kind of exploit White's position on the board. He's got some cutting points, right? So we jump in, we cut immediately, and we're threatening this group of five. Because he's down to two liberties. I can put this stone into Tari with like one more play. So I have a couple forcing moves down there. Puts him into a tough spot. What's he have to do? He's got to play here, right? Because he can't play here. He can't put me into Atari this direction because then what? I come down, but he pushes me from the left, but then he's down to one liberty. I take him. Maybe he pushes me from the right, and I go left. He's down to one liberty. What? He can't do anything. I take him. So white can't do any of those, right? Let's back it up. White has to put me into Atari from below, and effectively trying to create two groups. Whether or not that's what he's like actually trying to do, he just he can't live down here if he played the other way. So this is kind of your only shot, right? Maybe I've split him into two groups here. We'll see. So he's got me into Atari. I have to go right. He's trying to save his bottom group, sure, but like this is in a lot of trouble now, and this is also in a little bit of trouble too, right? Initially, this was fine, and we were threatening this bottom little T section, but now all of a sudden up here, like with one Atari, if I play here, this is stones of Atari, gotta play here. This is all one big group now, and guess what? One, two, three liberties. That's trouble. So exactly that. We put him in Atari. He doesn't connect up. In fact, he tries to save his corner instead. I think that's a valiant effort. Maybe he recognized, you know what, one of these groups is going to get killed off. He maybe figured the bottom had the best chance of survival. So all right, we're gonna work on this bottom, and I can see that, right? Because you could probably get an eye down here. You get another one over here. You'll live. However, how does this play out? We have the Atari. We take it. So now all of a sudden we've maybe split these groups, right? He had one group down here. We've potentially split it. Not necessarily, he can still connect. But my cutting stone where I threw in there, I'm officially safe now, right? I've connected up to this bigger group. So all of a sudden I'm safe down there. I can kind of do whatever I want. So we're a little bit more free. White attacks. But at this point, I recognize that this group is in trouble if it doesn't connect. I can still cut over here, right? And that's exactly what happens. You'd think maybe I would link up here at, what is that, Q4? Then white probably plays here. Then what do? I go here to put him into Atari. He's got to go here. Whatever, I go here, here, here. White goes there. Something like that. White's totally safe. I didn't really get any kills down there. I just stole a couple points. What would that turn out to be? White by 44. Oh, because white thinks, sorry, the computer thinks this is toast. We'll ignore that for a moment. Um, so that's what he thought was going to happen, right? That I would just link up right here. However, I thought this through, and it was more effective for me to cut him in half and keep that cutting motion going and sacrifice that stone. So what do I actually do? I push to the right and I say, I'm going to just split this group of whites. I'm going to split that right off. Um, White, you can see, trying to connect up. Instead of, maybe cutting fully right to the edge of the board, I'm going to take this one stone. I'm going to attack that. White says, no way, I'm going to put you into Atari and take your stone there. And now my cutting group down here, it's cut off from this group, right? Because he took that stone. But guess what? I take that kill. All of a sudden, he's officially cut now. He's in two groups. Unless he kills me off, that's done. I've sealed it up against the edge of the board. So he's in trouble because now this upper group, he's got 1, 2, 3 liberties. Bottom group, I mean, kind of got like 1, 2, 3, 4-ish liberties. But he doesn't do himself any favors there. He pushes to the right of the board, I guess because he wants to eventually play here and put me into Atari, right? But doesn't matter. At this point, interesting. I did notice that apparently later on here, like 20 moves later, we noticed that snapback and we just protected this group, right? We might not have the eyes the way this is laid out, but it's actually not going to end up mattering because then White says, "Oh, you played over there. Guess what? I'm going to try and finish you off in this corner, put you in Atari." No, it doesn't matter because then I take the kill, and all of a sudden his upper group, he's down to 1 liberty, right? What are you going to do now? You play away something completely unrelated. He should have put me into a co-battle maybe if there was a spot to do that, but next play, boom, take the big kill. And guess what? This group is now all on its own. He's got nowhere to live. I can probably kill him off too. I think that happened later in the game, but now look at that. Black by 45. So we went from down 16 to up by 45 by taking that corner and really putting the pressure on. And guess what? Now we don't have to attack over here. Now we can basically end the game, and that's essentially what we did. There wasn't a lot of moves left after this. Played a handful more moves each, finished it off, and ended up getting a big win because of the attack down here and that game breaker. So the moral of this is check the score. I always say that when you're getting close to the end of the game, you sort of want to know where you stand. Do you need to be a little bit defensive if you're ahead? Do you need to be aggressive if you're behind? I was behind by 16, had to get aggressive. I saw a point in there where I could maybe do a little bit of exploitation. Mind you, I missed a point over here where I totally could have blown it, right? At the beginning of the game, we talked about the missed game breaker. If White had taken that, all that would have been for nothing, and I would have got absolutely smoked at the end of this game. But White missed it too. I ended up getting the kill, saved that little connection for later, linked it up so I was fully safe, and then, at the end of the day, my territory was like the whole right hand side of the board. Plus the other group over on the left, right? So, anyway, we'll end it there. Short and sweet. Nice little game breaker. Just jump in there, get aggressive, attack those cutting points when you're down. When you're down 10 points, 15 points near the end of the game, sometimes you got to make a move. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Let's go.